This is an outrage. That was our esteemed Governor Jay Inslee responding to those responsible for ballot box surveillance signs in King County. Remember, where you go, vote here. You go put your vote in. Well, they had just a nice little sign that said, hey, this ballot box is under surveillance. If you monkey around with the ballot box, there could be consequences. And they listed the RCW and then also a QR code, one of those square things where you put your phone up there and go, all right, where does it take you to? Well, it takes you to King County Republican something. They're just letting you know that if you monkey with the ballot box, it's under surveillance. But Democrats took that as an affront to the democratic process of America. They didn't like that. Not one tiny little bit. They even took it as misinformation. I didn't really see it that way. The way I saw it was, if you're not doing anything wrong and somebody's videoing you, yeah, no harm, no foul, right? I mean, others would say, oh, you can't have that. You can't. It's going to dissuade people from voting. If somebody records me putting a ballot in a box, all right, I feel better because there's a recording of me I just dropped one. I didn't drop 10,000. I'm not saying I'm a huge believer in the whole conspiracy theory about election being thrown. I think the election was impacted in ways that it shouldn't have been. I'm talking the 2020 election, but not from the standpoint of, ballots were either miscounted or stolen or whatever. There doesn't seem to be enough concrete evidence or enough proof for me to believe that the election was thrown that way. But I think it was truly influenced by the media in other ways that were just as devastating, that were just as impactful in just a really slimy, reach around type way, right? Just crazy stuff happened in 2020. All right. So on Tuesday, the King County Elections Office called for a removal of the signs after receiving reports of suspicious and intimidating signs. If I see a sign that says you're being recorded, I am not intimidated. I'm just like, make a funny face at the camera, right? It doesn't really bother me. You're all under surveillance all the time. Big Brother is watching you. We've kind of grown up with that. And from that standpoint, and there's cameras everywhere now, right? I want to do funny things all the time. And I'm always doing something where I've got a video camera and I'm telling my girlfriend, I'm going to go video that. And she's like, well, somebody's watching you. I'm like, yeah, what's new? People watch me all day long. It's what I do. I actually get paid for it. That doesn't make her happy, but relationships, you can't be happy all the time. You got to take the good with the bad. So what do we got going here? The reason I'm reading this is Inslee was upset. Our governor here in the state of Washington, yeah, he's special. I mean, he is special. I mean that in the most special of ways. You know what I mean? Calling it un-American and un-Washingtonian. I'd say un-Washingtonian is a positive thing. Un-American? No. America. America. You see that flag and then you say, America. That's what you do, right? Other people are like, God, no, I'm going to take it down and burn it. No, that's not what we're doing. But un-Washingtonian, what even is that? I do not identify as Washingtonian because that's embarrassing. Because we've got embarrassing political leaders like Jay Inslee. So Governor Jay Inslee said Wednesday that placement of signs that read under surveillance next to King County ballot drop boxes is being done to intimidate people to stop them from voting. If you see a sign and you can't if you see a sign that says, hey, you're being watched, and you can't figure out how to drop that bad boy in the box, you're chicken shit. I'm sorry. You just are. So this is an outrage, he said. It's an absolute affront to everything we hold dear. What is it that you hold dear? I am still unclear on that, which is the right to vote. You still got the right to vote. There's nothing preventing you from voting. Not a thing. Not a thing. There's no misinformation. And now we've got a clear record of you dropping one ballot in there. Huh. Interesting. But somehow that's an outrage. On Tuesday, the King County Elections Office called for the removal of the signs after receiving reports of suspicious and intimidating signs. The signs included a QR code with the line, "Please report suspicious activity here." I'm okay with that. If there's something squirrely going on, report it. Get it to the people that, are going to do something about it. Yeah. A test showed the code brings up a website for the King County Republican Party Election Incident Report page. Now, if this is totally bogus, that's one thing. But I don't know. I thought it was, The elections office said the signs appear to be a targeted effort by party-affiliated activists. All right, here's where we go sideways because, it's one side of the party, not the other side of the party. Interesting. To intimidate and dissuade people from using the drop boxes. I honestly don't think people are dissuaded. Oh my gosh, there's a sign up there that says no suspicious activity. I'm not going to vote. God, no, I'm not going to vote. I mean, if there's shenanigans going on here, I'm not voting. No, that's not what people are going to say. They're going to go, okay, yeah, what's new? Plonk. There goes their vote, right? King County Elections Chief of Staff Kendall Hodson said the signs are illegal under federal and state law, adding that wording that discourages voters from casting their ballots is considered an intimidation tactic. Huh. All right. You are not a unique snowflake. If you're intimidated by that kind of thing, you should go home and mail in your ballot. How about that? You don't have to put stamp on that bad boy. You leave it in your mailbox, have somebody pick it up. Have somebody else mail it. The mail, it's a thing. Use it. You shouldn't have to feel that way when you drop your ballots. These drop boxes are 100% secure. We're not worried about the drop boxes. We're worried about the activity leading up to people putting stuff in the drop boxes. Huh. Yeah. Well, the signs were posted near at least 9 ballot boxes located throughout King County, including Bothell City Hall, the Broadview Branch, Seattle Public Library, Mercer Island, Ballard, Kirkland, Federal Way, and Woodinville, a smattering of cities here in King County. In a prepared statement, Michael Patrick Thomas, chair of the King County Republican Party, requested his party's members remove and discontinue the placement of the signs. All right. So, they took notice. Okay, you guys did it. You guys told us you got to take those things down. But I think what's interesting is they kind of put everybody on notice. Okay, no shenanigans. I'm okay with that. I'm not saying there were shenanigans to begin with, but just a warning that no shenanigans. I'm all right with that. I just am. Inslee said the placement of the signs is keeping pace with Republican national efforts to suppress people. Really? Huh. That's I don't really see it that way. People, he said, who some Republicans don't agree with. All right. Well, there's a lot of things Democrats say that I don't agree with. And so, okay, whatever. Inslee said his office will follow the results of the investigation, I'm sure based on the data and the science. He was famous for that. He added there could be a need for additional legislation. Are we just legislating everything willy-nilly that we don't like? It feels that way, doesn't it? Whether we need it or not. I mean, there's some of the stupidest legislation coming out of Washington state. Not saying other states don't have crazy legislation, but Washington state, for whatever reason, has just gone down this pathway of just some stupid stuff. I mean, just ridiculous stuff, just ongoing ridiculous stuff. We're kind of a joke. Let's be honest. Washington state has just become kind of the laughing stock of, well, it's not as bad as Oregon, but it's pretty close. On some stuff, I'd say we go neck and neck. Yeah, we go neck and neck. There's a lot. There's more population here in the state of Washington, especially in Western Washington. Bigger areas, bigger cities. So you got kind of that going. You've got more industry. You got more big business and that kind of thing. But as far as just, off the beaten trail, going a different direction, state of Oregon, I think they lead the pack. So, yes, we'll be taking whatever action is necessary to stop this behavior, Inslee said. Okay. All right. We hear you. We hear you, Jay. Remember when Jay was going to run for president? That didn't work out. Oh, can you imagine him as president? Oh, yeah. So Inslee was going to run for president. Train wreck. And his campaign didn't do well, did it? Speaking of presidents, see that Biden got the Rona? Whew. Yeah. That would have been, can you imagine back in, say, March of 2020, Biden gets the Rona. That would have been just, CNN would have been on that all day and night. Oh, the president, what's going to happen? You know, Fox too. Everybody would have been all over that. Now we're kind of like, well, it's just like the flu and, you know, you're going to live, so don't really worry about it. Even people on the left are that way. Yeah, you got to live your life. It's all okay. It's good. It's fine. We still have people being fired for not getting the vaccine. I've heard rumors and lots of different rumors that there are so few people for jobs within like county, state, city environments that a lot of these vaccine mandates, they might get sunsetted at some point so they can keep some employees. That's kind of some of what I've been hearing. Because I know there's still a lot of people losing their jobs. Can you believe that? They're still losing their jobs because they didn't get the jab, a personal medical decision. And then we've got this whole Roe v. Wade thing that just really upsetting folks. Really upsetting folks. And it's like, well, where were you when we had the personal medical decision of whether or not to get the jab? And you were just all over, just forcing people to do something that maybe they weren't comfortable with. Yeah. There doesn't seem to be an equitable fairness to the deal, does there? No. No. It's not. It's just, we want what we want and we want it now. So Biden got the Rona. That guy can't catch a break. Seriously. That guy cannot catch a break. I'm not saying he deserves a break, but see, since he's been in office, how has that guy not had a heart attack? The stress he must be under. I mean, everything he touched just literally turns to poop. And then he's fist bumping murderers in Saudi Arabia. Gets the Rona. It must suck to be him. I mean, it really must. Be reasonable. It's got to be suck. It suck to be Joe Biden. I'm not a fan. I'm really not. But if you just look at the events that have happened during his presidency, and he's responsible for a great many of them, granted, but just the sequence at which they have happened. If he's just had one thing after another, gets the Rona, he'll probably be fine. I mean, you know, he's been triple vaxxed how many times? Don't know. So you've just got some crazy stuff going on with Joe. But, you know, you've got a situation coming up here where there's going to be a massive spotlight on the elections. And people, I think, are afraid, whether or not you believe the 2020 elections were thrown or rigged or whatever. I personally do not believe that. But I think they were... The election outcome was pushed one way, and a lot of it had to do with the media. And that's just as illegal. It's just you can't, come right out and arrest anybody for it. Like they're talking about here. Maybe we need some legislation, no more signs on the ballot boxes. And they were nice signs too. They weren't hand scribbled or they weren't tagged like, a bunch of the knuckleheads that the far left support would do. It wasn't tagged. They were just nice little signs, QR code, just very matter of fact. Hey, this could be under surveillance. And if you see some suspicious activity, please report it here. Here's a QR code. Nothing mean, nothing disruptive, just a little, hey, here's a what's up. This is going on. So, but you can't really do that. But then, are you going to be outraged that it happened? It's 2022. There's a lot more outrageous things going on than this. It's just that people are freaked out. You know what? We're on the Democratic side of things, and it's not going to be a fun midterm. And then the 2024 elections, that is not going to go well either. So I think they're just literally bracing themselves, and anything that has to do with the elections, they're just kind of like, it's intimidation. Be interesting. This will be the most that I have ever paid attention to an electoral process in both these midterms and the ones coming up. In 2016, of course, I voted for Trump. I'm a real estate guy. I'm a West Coast real estate guy. We don't have a lot of figures to watch in real estate. Watching Trump in my 20s, when he was in his 40s and he was looking back on his 20s, that guy was the king. I mean, he was slinging some PR on his projects. Ivana Trump, rest in peace. She was a great lady. I really respected her. She did a lot of great things, and she was a pretty cool lady. She bowed out in that divorce pretty gracefully, and I think she led after the divorce, a lot of respect there. But Trump, in his 40s, was unstoppable. And then he went through some markets and market downturns. So of course I voted for him. He's a real estate guy, but I didn't pay a lot of attention. And then when he won, I'm like, I voted for a guy that won? This is awesome. This is the best ever. Because there was such a meltdown. There was such a meltdown on the left. And it was just so entertaining to watch. Now I kind of feel like that is coming full circle. So when you have incidences like this, where it's like, this is un-America and this is un-Washington. When somebody says un-Washington, that's your cue to go, all right, well, what's going on? Because, yeah, that's not necessarily a good thing. Yeah, it's okay to be un-Washington. Thanks so much for being here. We'll catch up on the next one. Bye for now.